I want to take a minute to introduce assignment one, go over what you can expect to produce, but also go over some of the core concepts we're going to be talking about and some of the tutorial topics you can expect to be covered in the next couple of weeks. So this is an example of an output that we'll produce in early February. And the idea here is we're focused on producing a building that's less about being a building and more about being a composition so that you can start to understand that in BIM there is a singular 3D environment with views linked to that environment and also some data that is able to take and live update based on your changes in these views. So we're going to start by having a quick modeling exercise in a program like Rhino. Understand how you can export a file from an environment like Rhino and import into an environment like Revit. Start applying some generic assemblies and things like visibility graphics and view templates so that you can produce a diagram that looks the way you want it and compose it on a sheet that looks something like this. In terms of deliverables for this assignment, we're going to be producing a singular ANSI D 22 by 34 sheet. This used to be 2 sheets and we were focused more on importing and exporting massing studies, but we're just going to run through that exercise once. And so I want to focus on getting you into the 3D environment and being able to play around with the composition a little bit more. On this sheet, I want you to produce at least one 3D view. Now this can be an isometric view, it can be an exploded diagram view like I'm showing, and I'll show you how to produce these diagrams, but at least one 3D snapshot of your model. I also want at least 2 floor plans and elevations. Now depending on the formal complexity of your building, elevations could be more important or plans could be more important in terms of representing your building. So I just want to start with 2 of each. I'm showing 4 elevations and 3 plans because I don't really have anything on the 3rd floor, and the 4th floor I'm showing as the top of the tower. And my elevations are all different, so I'm showing all 4 elevations. I'm showing one section here, so an example of maybe getting rid of an elevation would be I would eliminate the south elevation here, replace it with section 3. That would still satisfy the requirements of the assignment. And then I also want you to start taking some preliminary schedules. So early takeoffs. Schedules are basically spreadsheets that show how your model is performing in terms of square footage requirements, material takeoffs, and you can do calculations like getting a wall cost here. So this 22 by 34 sheet is a good example of a BIM workflow, how you can take a single environment, start to take some views off of it, and then get some really early data. There's also some 2D elements added on top of the sheets to finalize the composition. I also want your Revit file, so that will also be used to double check whether these are actually parametric things or not parametric. So in this example, everything is changeable on this sheet, everything's modifiable, but there are some 2D elements that are not parametric, like these lines. And that will help you understand what is easily modifiable, what takes a little bit of time in Revit, and what takes a lot of time in Revit. And that's the goal of this assignment.